In today's world of software development, there's this constant push and pull, right? You've got to move fast, but you've also got to stay secure. So what if you didn't have to choose? Today, we're going to dig into how a security platform called Wazuh helps you do exactly that, build pipelines that are both super fast and seriously secure. I mean, if you're in development or operations, this question probably hits pretty close to home. Everyone is pushing you to ship new features like yesterday. But then security comes in and it just feels like hitting a giant brick wall. It's that age-old battle, speed versus safety. And this slide just lays it all out perfectly. Over on the left, that's the old way. Security is its own little island, they only react to problems, and they get involved right at the very end. Finding a vulnerability at that stage? Oh, it's an absolute nightmare. The alarms go off, everyone scrambles, and the code gets kicked all the way back to the beginning. But on the right, you see the DevSecOps approach. It's collaborative, it's proactive, and security is baked in from day one. It stops being a bottleneck and actually becomes an enabler.
So, how we actually get over to that promised land on the right side of the screen? Well, it all starts with a whole new philosophy, DevSecOps. You can really think of it as the next logical step for DevOps, an evolution that's not just nice to have, but frankly, totally necessary in today's world.
So what is it really? At its core, DevSecOps is all about weaving security into every single stage of the development lifecycle. It's not just one team's problem anymore. And this is the key. Developers, operations, and security, everyone shares the responsibility for security right from the very first line of code.
And that idea leads us to this phrase you hear all the time, shifting security left. What does that really mean, though? It's simple. It just means finding and fixing security issues as early in the process as you possibly can, moving them to the left on a project timeline. And why does that matter? Well, finding and fixing a bug while a developer is still writing the code is just so much cheaper and faster than trying to patch it once it's already live in production. It's not even close. Okay, so that philosophy sounds great, but how do you actually do it, right? That's where a tool like Wazuh comes into the picture. It's this incredibly powerful open source platform that takes the whole DevSecOps idea and turns it into a real, practical, and automated thing you can actually use. Now, to see where Wazuh fits in, let's just do a quick walkthrough of a standard CI/CD pipeline. That's continuous integration and continuous deployment. It starts when a developer commits their code. Then that code gets built into software, it runs through a bunch of automated tests, it gets deployed, and finally, it's monitored while it's running live. The whole thing is a loop, and it's all designed for one thing: speed. So where's Wazuh in all of this? Everywhere. It wraps a layer of security around the entire pipeline. When you're coding, it can check for things like passwords that got committed by accident. During the build, it verifies your configurations are secure. In the test phase, it scans for known vulnerabilities. At deployment, it watches for any shady changes. And once you're live, it gives you real-time threat detection. It's like having a security guard watching over every single step of the way. Okay, so that's the big picture. Now, I want to zoom in on a few of Wazuh's key features that are honestly absolute game changers for anyone trying to do DevSecOps right. First up, we've got something called File Integrity Monitoring, or FIM. This one is so important. Basically, FIM keeps a constant eye on your most critical files, your source code, your server configs, to make sure they haven't been changed without authorization. Think of it like a silent alarm system that goes off the instant a critical file is touched, whether it's by an outside attacker or just an internal mistake. But finding a problem is only half the story. And this is where Wazuh is just awesome. It doesn't just send you an alert and then, walk away. It can be set up to take action automatically and immediately. It can block a malicious IP address trying to get in, it can restart a service that's acting weird, or it can even pull a compromised machine right off the network. This stuff is huge because it crushes your response time and stops threats before they can spread. And hey, for anyone out there who has ever had to go through a security audit, this one's for you. Wazuh helps make compliance way less painful. It's got pre-built rules and dashboards for standards like PCI DSS, GDPR, and HIPAA, so it automates a ton of that tedious report gathering. Audits go from being this giant disruptive event to just a simple, continuous part of your process. All right, so we've talked a lot about the theory and the features, but what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's check out a case study that shows the kind of impact we're talking about. So the source material talks about this financial services firm. And like a lot of companies, they were moving super fast, deploying new code all the time. The problem was that speed was leading to a lot of small misconfigurations in their cloud setup, which were leaving some pretty dangerous security gaps wide open. So they brought in Wazuh and plugged it into their pipeline. And the result? Get this. Within just 3 months, they saw a 40% reduction in the number of vulnerabilities found in their live production environment. I mean, that is just a massive, measurable improvement to their security, and it was all driven by this automated approach.
And this quote from the source really just says it all, doesn't it? It's not about choosing innovation or security. The whole point is to achieve that perfect balance between the two. And that's really what modern software delivery is all about.
So let's just quickly wrap up with the key things to take away here. First, DevSecOps is more than a buzzword. It's a real philosophy about baking security in from the very beginning. Second, a tool like Wazuh is what gives you that crucial visibility across the whole pipeline. Third, automation is the secret sauce. It's what lets you have both speed and security. And finally, this stuff gets real results, like that 40% drop in vulnerabilities we just saw.
And that really brings us to the final question, the one to take back to your own team. We've seen how this all works, both in theory and in practice. So now you've got to ask yourself, just how secure is your pipeline?